sometimes we come on this program and we talk about simple things, try to keep it that way. And then some days we just shoot for the moon and try to talk about something big, really big. Such is the case with the latest attempt the United States government is making towards bringing the George Orwell novel 1984 to life. Let's start with something fun. Adam Schiff, let's talk about him. The other day, he tweeted out the following. He said, "Here's my take on the world's richest man buying Twitter. He makes a great car and rocket, but I'm concerned that his personal views will stop the fight against disinformation on social media. The problem on Twitter hasn't been too much content moderation. It's too much hate." So assuming that you didn't just fall out of your chair laughing at the opinion of the guy who pushed the most disinformation on Trump not all that long ago, you probably find this hot take as irritating as I do. Nobody cares what you think, Shift for Brains. How long did you lie to the American people claiming you were sitting on top of a mountain of evidence that Trump colluded with the Russians, when in reality, what you had was a big fat nothing? You had nothing. And hey, not to worry, because when the word of disgraced civil servant doesn't do the trick, the Biden administration has other tricks up its sleeve. How about this new Disinformation Governance Board, which we on the right are laughingly through our tears referring to as the Ministry of Truth? In a coincidence so strange, one almost wonders if it's actually a coincidence. The Department of Homeland Security has created this new head of the Hydra immediately in the wake of Elon Musk's decision to buy Twitter. Everywhere around the world, blue-haired crazies have been threatening to throw a plugged-in toaster into the bath with their Twitter account, which I just have to note is freaking hilarious to me. They'll be the first army in history to win a war by throwing the towel at the enemy. The Disinformation Governance Board is designed to coordinate countering misinformation related to homeland security, focused specifically on irregular migration and Russia. Sounds totally legit, right? Heading up this new government entity is, you probably guessed it, yet another person whose credentials don't always pass the smell test. Nina Jankowicz not only has her hands deep in the cookie jar when it comes to the debunked Christopher Steele dossier, the pool from which she and Adam Schiff both went and probably continue to go drink from, but she also hopped on the Hunter Biden laptop foreign interference theory, a lie spun from the same poorly woven cloth. And this chick is going to be responsible for making sure that we clean up any disinformation on aisle 4. Give me a damn break. Listen. To what if you really listen to what they say, for instance, the Honorable Alejandro Mayorkas, you listen to what he has to say about where they're going with this whole thing. Well, just hear it for yourself. Chris, play the clip.
We are seeing
and my time is
rise,
quite limited.
We are seeing a rise in misinformation and disinformation that is attempting to strike at the integrity of the election system and people's right to vote.
And we're seeing on social media posts calling election officials corrupt and calling for violence against candidates and election officials. Isn't that correct?
That is, Congressman, which is exactly why I addressed the secretaries of state throughout this country a few weeks ago to speak with them about the efforts that we are making to provide them with physical security, the resources and information they need to ensure the safety of the electoral system over which they preside.
All right, so folks, as per usual, what we face in this country at this moment is a breakdown in the understanding and protecting of free speech. It's a breakdown. Whether Twitter is the town square or not, and whether it remains the town square even when Elon Musk is running it or not, the simple fact of the matter is that the current efforts on the part of our government to control what we say to one another are unquestionably part of a bigger scheme to control what we think. And it doesn't have to be coming from some cabal of cigar-smoking movie villains sitting in a dark room and determining the fate of the world. It doesn't have to do that because the ideology behind it does all the hefty, villainous lifting. Now, the people in charge can be good-hearted. Hell, in a few cases, they probably even are. It's bad enough to have a dangerous ideological framework upon which you're building the world of tomorrow. But when you do throw in such obvious, disingenuous people like Mrs. Jankowicz, for example, you're preparing the world for a serious beating. Now, never lose sight of the truth, folks. Free speech is an analog of free thought. And if we lose that, we've lost absolutely everything.